Everyone, myself Sangameshwar K. Naik from Girjabai Sale Institute of Technology, Majadi Karwar, 8th sem student, Civil Engineering Department, and I did paperwork on rainwater harvesting through the subsurface dike under the guidance of Dr. Veeresh sir and Professor Manjunath sir. Introduction. Water is a natural resource which is most important to every human being on the earth. As rise in the water scarcity due to increasing population, day by day demand for the water is also increasing, and change in the climatic condition, deforestation, overuse, which creates serious problems throughout the world for all the community. Industrial development and agricultural field development and production has resulted in overuse of groundwater and surface water resources, and hence reduces the quality of the water. Therefore, the conventional water resources like well, rivers, and reservoirs, etc., are inadequate to fulfill the water demand. Hence, the preservation of water is only way to store and utilize for the future use. Rainwater is the main source to implement this method for groundwater recharging, usually in the monsoon. Our main objective is to increase the groundwater table by obstructing the base flow of the water in river sand bed, and this water will be percolated and joined to groundwater. This groundwater should be properly utilized for the future use. Now we will know what is subsurface dike. Subsurface dike is a subsurface barrier or hidden check dam constructed across a stream or river which retards the natural subsurface or groundwater flow of the system and stores water below the ground surface. The main purpose of this underground structure is to arrest the base flow of the water in the sand bed near the valley portion so as to build up the groundwater storage in the upstream side of the subsurface dike. This is the subsurface dike constructed across this river. These are the nalas which is connecting the river. This is the massive igneous rocks. Up to this depth the dikes are constructed which act as a barrier for the upstream side flow of the water. And this is the water table which is higher due to this construction of subsurface dike, and the water table is lower at the downstream side. Advantages and disadvantages. First we will know about advantages of subsurface dike. The basic principle of the subsurface dike is this: instead of storing the water in surface reservoirs, water can be injected and stored in underground. It is composed of a cut-off wall by which the base flow is damped or the intrusion of the seawater is prevented, and facilitates like wells, intake shafts, and infiltration wells that yields good water which is stored in the sandbed. Water storage in subsurface dike offers a major advantage that evaporation losses are much less for water stored underground. Since the subsurface dike suffers virtually no loss of stored water from evaporation, it is more advantageous than the surface dam in dry regions. Further risk of contamination of the stored water from the surface is reduced because parasites cannot breed in underground water. The technology is preferred by the community for several reasons. It increases the capacity of the traditional wells. It is simple and less expensive to construct, replaceable and easily maintainable by the community. Now we will know about disadvantages of this system. Since the utilization of the stored groundwater in a subsurface dam requires pumping, operating costs are higher than those of a surface dam. The size of the voids between the solids of sand determines the capacity of the basin and base flow. When the particle size is small, the water stored in the sand bed will be reduced. Survey and design require trained person to avoid possible failures. The materials required to construct the subsurface dike are cement, clay, and PVC sheet, etc. Construction of subsurface dike. First, a trench should be dug out across the groundwater depression from one bank to other. In case of hilly terrain in hard rocks, the length of the trench generally may be less than 50 meter. In more open terrain, the length may be usually less than 200 meter, but occasionally even more. It should be wide enough at the bottom to provide space for construction activity. In case of shallow trenches down to 5-meter depth, the width at the bottom should be 2 meter. For deeper trenches down to 15 to 20 meter, deployment of mechanical equipment may be required. In such cases, width of 5 meter at the bottom is recommended. The side slope within alluvial strata should be 2:1 to make them stable. In case of more consolidated substrata, the slope could be steeper. The width at the surface should be planned accordingly. The bottom of the trench should reach the base of the productive aquifer. In case of hard rock terrain, below a limited thickness of alluvial fill weathered zone and underlying fractured aquifer may occur. The trench should be deep enough to penetrate both highly weathered and fractured strata. In case of more open terrain in consolidated or semi-consolidated strata, the alluvial thickness may be larger and the trench should be end below the alluvial fill deposit. In order to minimize or avoid problem of dewatering during the construction, the work should be taken up by the end of the winter and completed well before the onset of rains. As water table is at a lower elevation in this period, the cut-off dike could be either of stone or brick masonry or an impermeable clay barrier. For ensuring total impervious PVC sheet of 300 psi tearing strength and 400 to 600 gauges or low density polyethylene film of 200 gauges is also used to cover the cutout dike faces. In the case of relatively shallow trenches within 5-meter depth, where good impermeable clay is available within an economic distance 3 km, the cutout dike could be entirely be made of clay. In case good impermeable clay is not available, a stone masonry wall of 0.45 meter thickness or a brick wall of 0.25 meter thickness may be constructed on a bed of concrete. Cement mortar of 1:5 proportion and cement pointing on both faces is considered. In the case of very long trenches for economic consideration, it may be necessary to provide masonry wall only in the central part of the dike and clay dike suitably augmented by tar felting, PVC sheet, etc. on the sides. In the case of clay dike, the width should be between 1.5 and 2 meter depending on the quality of the clay used. The construction should be in layers and each fresh layer should be watered and compacted by plain sheet or sheep foot rollers of 1 to 2 ton capacity. In absence of roller, the clay should be manually compacted by hand ramjet where the core wall is a masonry structure. The remaining open trenches should be backfilled by impermeable clay. The underground structure should be keyed into both the flanks of stream for 1 meter length to prevent leakage from the sides. Conclusion: the site which has broad valley with narrow mouth is suitable for the construction of subsurface dike for the groundwater conservation. Subsurface dikes do not result in wastage of agricultural land, and also there will be no evaporation loss. Except the construction cost, the investment in terms of the maintenance cost is nil. In areas of well-defined watershed with a narrow outlet is an efficient system to conserve and utilize the rainfall that is received in a watershed area. The conserved water in the dike can be utilized through the open well or bore well for the various purposes in the sub-basin area. These are some of the references which I have studied to prepare this paper. Thank you.